Yeah, but I'm the worst technological person in the world, so...
Well, you know, if you're going to make that admission on air, Kevin, like you just did, how can I not agree? Hey, everybody, it's Kristi.
Well, thankfully, I didn't mention the erectile dysfunction on air. That would have been embarrassing.
Even worse. So hello, everyone, and welcome to Kristi and Kev's Happy Hour. We are having another happy hour to relax from the last happy hour we had that went a bit interestingly. But first, I want to say hello to my co-host, Kevin. How are you doing tonight?
I am fucking spectacular. How the devil are you?
Ah, it's been a week.
Well, it has literally been almost a week.
Yeah. Do you have your headphones in yet? Because again, we found out that the audio problem was...
Pardon?
You have your headphones in this time?
I do.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so I will keep an eye on the chat to make sure that the audio is coming along.
Why? Why do they? They don't matter. These little peons, the proles. Why are you taking them into account?
Come along to watch us. Yeah. So we're gonna let's try to do a little bit better on our audio. Apologies. Last time we tried a technical innovation before the show, and it kind of gave us a ocean sound. Kevin doesn't care, but
I've never cared. I never will.
Right, but well, let's move on to something you do care about. Schadenfreude.
Boobies. No.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yes, boobies and Schadenfreude.
Yes.
Because do you want to? You actually covered this on your channel, Kevin, with the video you mirrored. So do you want to further engage in sort of a celebration of a triumph of free speech?
Oh yes, the free speech warriors. Oh god, this takes us all the way back to MythCon. Gloriousness. Right. Richard Carrier, old Dickie Carrier, penis boy. He of the creepy invitations, sex for tickets to fucking conferences scenario. Yes, he went on stage with Sargon, which obviously ties into tonight, and Mario Quadracci and all of those. Talking about the free speech. He was a real big supporter of the freedoms of the peaches, and put a slap suit on PZ Myers and Stephanie Zvan, and I think there were a couple of others. And because they
$2 million.
Pardon?
$2 million.
$2 million. Yes, he was suing them for $2 million for saying he was a bit creepy. Which, you know, I mean, that's sort of an opinion, isn't it? Really, I don't think they ever alleged he'd committed a crime, so it wasn't like slander, slander or libel or anything. They'd given their opinion of it, used their free speech in ways he didn't like, so we tried to shut them up and just intimidate them into silence by suing them for $2 million. Now, it should be pointed out, none of the people involved have $2 million fucking dollars. Like, they're not very, very rich people. But thankfully, and inevitably, because this was only ever meant to be intimidation, that was thrown out. The court, without prejudice, rejected the claim. So free speech actually won on this occasion. But I just wanted to point that out because, like I say, the three people on stage, the main headline event of the MythCon was Mario Quadracci, who was funding the slapsuit, Richard Carrier, who was performing the slapsuit, and Sargon who was threatened to sue British newspapers for daring to quote him verbatim.
Oh, just remember, Carl actually brought up the suit on stage at MythCon when he said, "Oh, you're being sued by SJWs. I stand with you, Richard. I don't think you did these things," even though Richard Carrier admitted to making women in the community feel uncomfortable because he was thinking about them sexually, not intellectually.
Yeah, indeed. And Andy stood with, you know, with old Dickie Carrier, old Schlong Carrier, the man, by saying that the suit was fine, which obviously it wasn't. Obviously, it was meant to try and curtail the freedom of speech of people they disagreed with.
Yep.
And muted yourself. Presumably, there's some sort of Vespa party happening outside your house that's loud.
Parades in my street earlier with kids who were carrying not real lanterns with fires, but like fake little lanterns on sticks with the string, you know, sort of tied onto the lantern.
A fucking marching band. Does Cologne ever just shut the fuck up?
No, we're a party town. You know, I don't live in a main street. I live on a side street. It's so cool.
What the fuck was happening on the main street if you were having a marching band on the fucking side street? Presumably there was some sort of fireworks gun parade or something. I don't know.
Well, we did have the kickoff to Carnival on the 11th. Most people are observing a war memorial, but we're getting drunk in costume. That's how we roll.
Well, that's what they fought and died for, the freedom to be silly.
Yeah, and we're Yes, we're definitely engaging in our freedoms those days and enjoying a fellowship of our fellow people residents. But anyway, getting back to the slap
Hang
suit.
on, I can't let that go. Fellow people residents?
But yeah, that was me going. I was going to say fellow man, then I realized that's very outdated and gendered language, and then I struggled for persons, but then that kind of didn't quite encapsulate it. And then I was going to say
Fellow people
citizens.
residents.
I'm not a citizen, so you
People,
have to watch me SJW in real time.
yeah. Uh, anyway, let's not keep our fellow people residents waiting. Let's.
Fuck off.
Anyway, right. What did we actually come here to do tonight?
Basically, to talk about taking the piss out of Carl Benjamin and how it went over. It just kind of blew up. It became a much bigger thing than I
Tell us
expected.
all about it, because I don't remember this happening. What happened? What happened?
So after Carl had a midterm elections pre-election stream, we had a election night stream. These two things were unrelated, but both of them took place. And then,
Thank you to everyone who came on. We had a stellar list of
oh yeah,
atheist, secularist, lefty types. It was fucking awesome.
yeah, and they compared what they were drinking as well as talking bemoaning the state of American
Yeah,
politics.
yeah. If you want to see Aaron Ra get really drunk and
Yeah,
slightly ignorant, that's the stream for you.
yeah, he was on a roll. He was on fuego, my man.
Indeed, indeed. He was muy caliente. I don't know many Spanish phrases, but there we go.
Oh, well, on November 9th, I was looking at the dates of our Facebook message. V messaged both of us basically with the exact same word, except he'd swapped Kristi for Kevin in my message and Kevin for Kristi in yours.
Because he's literally as he puts as much effort in as his master.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. That's efficiency. But I mean, the word election had 2 L's in both messages. So it was.
It's his second language. I was going to skip over that. It's his second language. He speaks much better English than I speak Romanian. So let that slide.
And that's not, no. For me, it is proof that it was copy paste rather than.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Or that's just one blind spot in his otherwise impeccable English.
Honestly, my autocorrect.
Filthy racist, Kristi. How dare you?
Sometimes my autocorrect makes mistakes for me that I made in the past, and then it makes them again. I hate it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we had a beauty today in our little exchange, didn't we? Where it before became Italian.
Yeah.
The sentence made no fucking sense, and I have to type out again.
But yeah, so V reached out and said that Sargon wanted to come on our. Well, he said Kevin and Kristi, and then Kristi and Kevin, whatever. Kevin, initially, you said no because you assumed there's no way she wants to spend time with that asshole.
Yeah, exactly. Because like you'd done the formal debate on the basis that you could actually respond to him and stuff, rather than him just talking over you or whatever. And you wipe the floor with him. But I thought, well, you wouldn't want to do that, so I just said no. And I wasn't even going to raise it with you until I realised that he'd messaged you the exact same thing. So
Right, right. And a little history for people who don't know, because we got some comments in the chat that, in the comment section below, I should say, the hangout, that we were being mean to Carl. The fact is that Carl and I have a very long beef. We spoke in person once before in all this time that we've been beefing, I guess, if you want to say. It was during the debate, the live debate. Other than that, he would tweet at me and tweet back and forth, but we've never been in a chat room together.
I don't think we can mention the debate without mentioning you absolutely annihilated him. That's like that almost legally required when you mention the debate that you was asked with.
Well, it's interesting. We're going to look at comments at some point, and one person said that they watched the debate live when it happened, and then they watched us take the piss out of Carl and really reevaluated their view of him, went back to the debate and realized that I was being calm and making points and citing my sources, and he was just being condescending.
Yeah, he's a dick. He's a dick. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, for anyone who thinks we were being mean, you've got to bear in mind this is a man who went on a stream and laughed as people openly mocked our recently murdered friend.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So,
that was the first thing I brought up with him when I had a chance to initiate the conversation.
yeah, I mean, there's no, at that point you lose the not the human right, but like you lose the basic point of being of generosity and decency from the other side.
And I want to point out that when I brought that up, I wasn't accusatory or angry, or I didn't scream at him. What I did was mention someone that he knows as a friend who did something I think is quite honorable and compliment him for that, kind of opening the door for Sargon to do the honorable thing as well, especially given what he brought up later in the stream. And he walked right by it.
So anyway, with that preamble aside, should we get into you've got some timestamps of your favorite moments of the thing?
Yes, I've got to switch over. But first, if I could just say, so we talked about it, and the reason, and I do think I want to take a moment to say this because I know some people were surprised and shocked that we had him on, and I understand that. And some people were angry or like, I'm going to quit. I understand that, and I don't hold anything against you. I'm not angry at you, because when Kevin and I talked about it, my initial reaction was no, but then I thought, this asshole name checked me at MythCon. He has been on a downward spiral all year. He had his UKIP embarrassment, his liberalist embarrassment. He had his MythCon embarrassment. Then he has Gamergate 2.0 embarrassment. And, after he name checked me, I was looking for how he was doing in his own circles, just on the drama side of stuff. And you just saw this downward spiral. We actually talked about it in a hangout about how he's just rapidly fallen off this year. 2018, it's been a terrible year for him. And I realized if he was reaching out to us, basically, I smelled blood in the water and thought, yeah, like if I'm going to meet him, then I want to meet him on my terms. And what Kevin and I decided was that, we were going to have a conversation. We weren't going to make it timed or anything. We wanted free flow. Also, that we wanted to try to have a real conversation. It wasn't just going to be a piss taking, but also we were going to take the piss out of him. He uses those tactics. We were going to use his tactics against him. We were going to throw lines in his face that he has used before to defend himself or in other situations. And we were going to tease him and really just kind of expose him by showing that he doesn't know anything. And that was, it wasn't like at minute this, you say this, and I'm going to say that. We just both sort of agreed to what the tone of things were going to be. And it was not meant to be coming in here, like we invited him as an honored guest. He asked to come on our show, then he showed up late, and then he basically, walked past my opportunity for him to do the right thing. And not to mention the fact that he name-checked me at MythCon.
Yeah, he not just name-checked you, but name-checked you as specifically as an extremist.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And look, yeah, as Kristi said, it starts about when Kristi, if you want to now move over to the video and screen share. It starts at about the 12-minute mark because he arrived late, purposefully so, I imagine, because this is seemingly a tactic he uses, where he told me he was going to get a cup of tea, and then when he arrived said nature had called. Now, both of those things are perfectly plausible, but me and Kristi don't do this for a living, right? But we turned up on time. Whereas the professional who actually does this is how this motherfucker earns his corn. He turned up 12 minutes late, and just went, "Oh, sorry," as if that's we're supposed to just go, "Okay, fine." That's no.
Kevin,
this motherfucker, he was getting it. He was fucking getting it.
Did he sound surprised to hear my voice? Did he say, "Oh, Kristi, I didn't realize you would be here"?
Not at first, although he did have to try and belittle you later on by saying, "I didn't want to talk to you."
Yeah, basically. And didn't he also like come and we started talking about the election and he was talking about it, but then later on he claimed that he had sent V to talk to you about going on your show for a chat. Now, have you ever had a chat with Sargon and not determined the topic beforehand?
No, like there's always been at least a vague idea of what it was.
So
like I'm not his fucking best mate where he just rings me up and goes, "Oh, Kev, what are you up to?" No, that's yeah, no. That's not how that works.
So just I want to set this up too. Like, what we heard from V was quite specific. He said show, he said midterm elections, and he used both of our names to both of us. So either V is setting Sargon up on a blind date, which I do not believe, or Sargon basically said what V said, and then because he got embarrassed here, he just made up a story that threw V under the bus, which he also claimed V was his friend. So apparently he throws his friends under the bus.
Yeah, he threw him under the bus, and it's essentially the moral equivalent of farting and blaming it on the dog.
Yeah. All right, so you can. I think.
And that analogy works twofold because V is basically his fucking pet. So that works on two levels there.
Yes,
you can have that extra pun for free.
Although, as we said, you were sort of you went hard at V to get under Carl's skin.
Yeah, I didn't really want to go at V that hard, but when Carl bit, like I dangled the bait out there, thinking, well, he'll just ignore it, whatever. But I'll just have a little joke at V's expense because it's funny because he does go out and white knight for him and he's his little carrier pigeon. And he went, "Oh, don't be horrible to V. He's my friend." Oh, you're getting it. You're fucking getting it again. It's just it's ridiculous.
And then he proceeds to throw him under the bus by lying about the fact that he never sent him to do our show, and he
Well,
wanted the topic.
Yeah, well, I hadn't even considered that angle until you raised it later on. But yeah, it makes me feel even more justified in having a little bit of a joke. Like, I didn't say anything horrible about V, really. That isn't sort of at least true to an extent. Like, he does seem like his little manservant, you know.
But yeah, just to point out Carl's lies again. Just I wanted to put that out there because it might have gotten missed in the course of the show. So, all right. So, hopefully.
Well, hang on. Should we skip forward the first minute of the thing, because ultimately you were talking about fucking D&D with V, and that's boring as shit.
We're gonna play tomorrow. I can't wait.
Are you really?
My stats. I have to do some remedial.
Well, are you sure he wants to play with you and he didn't want to play with me, but he just got the message wrong again? I don't.
Maybe you can have my cleric, my social justice cleric, if you want.
That sounds deeply sexual.
Yeah, I mean, I'm rocking it in my leather armor. Okay, so let's do a sound test on this. To you guys over there, and he brought up the fact that he had taken. That's about right.
Awesome.
Okay, perfect. And also, I'm not gonna. When you talk, I'm just gonna pause, but I'm not gonna try to adjust the audio because I noticed it sounds perfectly fine out of my speakers when you talk, especially when my screen is locked anyway. So here we go. Down the skeptic feminist live feed because he, now looking back on it, thought it was a bad idea and regretted it, and sort of not done humor or tried to make jokes on those kinds of topics anymore. And I have to say, it really meant a lot to me, and I just wanted to shout that out for him and say that was good thing.
Oh, that's very sweet of him.
Mm-hmm. So that was where.
See, what a little wanker. He did, rather than going, yeah, actually, I kind of regret that too. Sorry. Well, that would have been cool. That would have been like, okay, a little bridge built there, fine.
Honestly, that would change the tone of things completely for me. It would have blown me away. It would have thrown me off my game.
Yeah, but I mean, Carl is nothing if not entirely predictable.
Oh, that's for sure. That's why we could set all this stuff up, because he only has so many bows in his, quiver, and he uses the same ones over and over. He never thinks.
Well, I mean, we're going to do a favorite comments bit later, and one of them I thought about putting in, but I didn't because I wasn't sure if people would get the reference. But it was from Malcolm Tucker from the what's the fucking show called? Bollocks. The thick of it.
I was saying In the Loop.
Yeah, and he's describing someone constantly making mistakes, and he says it's like a clown running across a minefield. And that's sort of his Carl, really. He's like, he falls into every elephant trap you set. It's ridiculous.
So we're going to continue on here. I'm just going to let the chat know I'm going to ask them if you have any sound problems. I'm going to have a look now. So I'm going to hit play and then.
Okay, well, Kristi cares. I don't.
Right.
So
exactly.
just so everyone knows.
Yeah. Carl, I know. Kevin, did you have a question you wanted to start things off with?
Yes. Well, this is the thing. It's interesting you mentioned V, of course, because he was the your little Romanian carrier pigeon, fucking little eagle fucking creature.
Denigrate him that way. He is my friend, and
he's your little.
That's where the hook. That's where she got caught on the hook.
Yeah, exactly. You bite, I'm going to reel you in. It's just simple as that. Look, you know how the game's played by now. You fucking hell.
And I also pointed out that, taking the piss is a great British tradition. It's one that I've, taken up and embraced fully.
Yeah, that's what I have to ask Carl. Why do you hate British culture so much? Really?
And he's surrounded by it. He's native to it, and he's shit at it.
Yeah, he is. These bants are low grade. Absolutely.
Yeah, they are. That's why we were able to. Well, sort of like I was thinking a kitten playing with a mouse, or a cat playing with a mouse. Sort of like knocking it about. That's what it felt like. Like we were just going back and forth. I bat him for a while, then you'd bat him for a while, and then I'd bat him for a while.
Yeah, a little bit. It felt a little bit like that. In Australia, they've got a thing called quokka soccer. I'm not going to go into it, but it's a similar issue.
All right, here we go for the rest of. Otherwise, the show will take forever, so we got to go.
Well, is your little manservant? Yeah, your little messenger boy. Yeah. That's all.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were laughing at your joke again, which was.
I was. I literally. I literally was actually laughing at how funny I am. Which I mean, okay, yes, I've got my own. I'm huffing my own farts at this point. Who cares?
Although you have to remember, for us, we're also reliving it when we rehear it, and so it takes us back to the moment and how much.
It was a lot of fun. You got to bear in mind, for us, this is so much fun. This was brilliant. This was years of him just being a fucking prick and some catharsis, you know.
Oh yeah, I think I said something along the lines of, "This is 2 years of scorn poured into shitting on him with laughter."
Yeah, and it was good. It was very good. So anyway, should we get back to this little mouse?
Yes. Oh, there we
All
go.
I'm saying is,
Kristi's man.
all I'm saying is, I hope you keep him muzzled when you take him out for a walk. That's all.
Don't be like that. He's a good guy.
Yeah, but he's really easy to mock, and that's amusing to me. Anyway, no, I don't hate Peter or anything. Anyway, but he contacted you wanted to come on the show, and I just wanted to start off with this, right? You wanted to talk about the elections. I believe this. I don't know if you can see the screen. This is a thing you put up on your Facebook, I believe. It says, and I quote: "The Democrats believe this is a Pardon?
It looks like a thing from YouTube, actually.
Oh, YouTube. Okay. The Democrats believe this is a referendum on their entire platform. Orange man bad. Deplorables are Nazis. Socialism is a gift from the prophet Marx. Peace be upon him." Now, Carl.
Can I just point out, so I brought this up and Carl walked all over it, but there was a study that was done with people who were self-identified white nationalists, and they asked how you got started. And they had a lot of, different answers. A lot of them, a majority of them had to do with social media. Several people mentioned Carl, Sargon of Akkad, at least like a 3 or 5 or something, 4 or 5 out of the 75, 76. And when he writes these sorts of things, this is the sort of desensitization. What one of the people said was he watched his videos on feminists and SJWs, and he kind of like got used to hearing people talked about like that. So when he went over to Reddits or other places where it was more extreme, it was less of a shock to him. This is the kind of stuff that you're talking about, that you're calling him out on.
Yeah.
And that was the point, not that he was trying to joke. It's when he uses these sorts of things, these sorts of language, he's desensitizing people who do object to white nationalism into, things, making horrible, making false claims about your political opponents and turning them into your political enemies.
Yes.
Okay, so that's my rant over.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Considering that quote, the question I'd like to kick off with is: are you the single stupidest motherfucker who's ever lived, or are you just a liar?
Neither.
Good question. Good question.
Well, how so? Because the prophet Marx, what's that got to do with the Democratic Party?
You must be able to see that this is
Also, can I just point out, I think that basically this part of the conversation, we can probably move on to the next timestamp. But
you have to start over because you were talking over yourself.
Well, I can't help it. If I'm going to be talking, I'm going to talk over myself, and then we need to do another stream where I talk over myself, talking over myself, talking over myself. That has to happen. Yeah, we can probably move on to the next timestamp now, because basically that argument devolves into nonsense. But one thing I did want to point out was he says, "Oh, it's a joke," and then goes on to defend it. So I mean, it's clearly not a joke. Then you clearly do believe they're Marxists, and you're an idiot for it.
Right. Okay, so I've got 1438 when the far left he makes the claim the far left are taking over the Democratic Party.
1438. That's only 50 away from the Nazi number, Kristi. How dare you?
And on that point, why I wanted him to list look up the Democrats, the Justice Democrats, was because I was curious as to what districts they were representing. Because as I pointed out, well, never mind. I mean, we can skip ahead, but how do you want to skip that part where we debate or talk about the number of Justice Democrats, because the next one is there. Let's see, 16 16. He says, "I haven't been following things."
Yeah, we can skip to that, but
Okay.
it's worth just mentioning that. Yeah, he does. He says, "Oh, they're taking over," and then names Cristina Ocasio-Cortez, one person out of the 230 or whatever it is. You just think that's one person, and then says 7 or 8, and then when we call him on 7 or 8 later, he says, "Oh no, it might be more." Well, you don't have a fucking clue what you're talking about. Why have you just come on to discuss this nonsense? Anyway, go on.
Yeah, and again, I actually set this argument up. It's the first thing I say is she's representing your district the same way that Steve King, who was actually called a neo-Nazi approved by members of his own party, got elected in his district. So if you're going to point to 7 Justice Democrats, let's look at all the Nazis running on the GOP ticket and look at how, and do some comparisons here. That was the point I was trying to set up. But then he just became so stubborn about not looking it up that I had to rib him. I was just like, okay, no, you know one person and that's it. So I'm only going to give you that much charity. Had he looked it up right away or said, can you look up on your thing? And then we would have had that conversation. But
well, you think he would have something, because this is what he does for, like I say, he does it for a living, right? You think he would have, he's got a claim that the left are taking over. So you think he'd have some sources for that, like pre-done, because he's done videos on this. You think when he talks about feminism later on, when you ask for sources, you'd think he'd have loads of them bookmarked, and quotes from people, and passages from books that would highlight his point or whatever, already in place, because he's been doing this for years and he's got nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so delicious. Nom.
Well, his tears have sustained me this week. It's been glorious. You could make fucking batteries from the amount of salt.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know if we're going to talk a bit more about our own reactions, but this week has been very interesting, to say the least, and the kinds of praise I'm getting and the quarters from which I'm getting praised has been really different. But
and shows, and in many ways he's united the left and right in hating him.
It is a bit like saying 1 + 1 = 2. Even if a Nazi said that, you would have to go, yeah, I can see where you got that from. And when everyone just calls Carl out on his bullshit, we're all just like, yeah, he's totally full of bullshit. Yeah. That's a universal, like, maths. Okay, calling out that kind of level of bullshit, right? Come on.
Pedantic, Kristi?
No, it's not pedantic to ask you if you're going to make a claim to back it up.
Do you think I've got a sheet of notes in front of me?
Well, I have my references to go.
Oh, Carl, sorry, mate. If you make a fucking a claim, you need to provide evidence for that. The fact that we know you haven't done any fucking preparation for this is irrelevant.
Oh, that's beautiful, isn't it? Literally, his defense is, I didn't prepare. Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, we know you're a lazy prick and you're an intellectually fucking bereft goon. Yes, we know. But that's not a defense, mate. You're just saying, oh, yeah, I'm a lazy fucker. So what? Well, don't come on for a discussion about a topic then.
Well, he just wants to trade opinions because, actually looking things up is.
Oh, well, that annoyed me later. I don't know if you've got it timestamped, but when we were talking about the Electoral College, and I literally gave him the statistic, it was the third Trump's was the third narrowest since 1978, right, in terms of the Electoral College victory. And he said that was a landslide. And I said, no, statistically, look, there's the numbers, and because you got that list up of all of the presidential wins. And he's like the 12th lowest or something of all time. And and he said, well, that's just my opinion. No. An opinion is I like pepperoni on pizza, not I think these numbers are wrong.
Yes. And I have nothing else to prove it. Like, I have no counter evidence.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, obviously numbers can be wrong, but I mean, like, in terms of the fact that those are the set numbers, we know these are historical events that took place, right? It's black and white. There's no arguing about that. And yeah, he's going to go, oh, it's a landslide because he's a liar. I mean, there's no other way to look at it. That's not just bullshit. That's lying. That's deception.
Can I go back to a point really quick before we go? And by the way, landslide conversation happens at 32 minutes 30. Carl has now done this a couple times where he says he needs a tea and a shit before he'll come on air, and he ends up being late. Do you think he's got like some sort of, he gets the squirts or something before he goes on air?
No, it's he's so nervous. He literally shits out his own lungs. He gets that fucking desperate about it. No, it's a power play, isn't it? He keeps you waiting.
Because it makes you think, like, how does he do, in what order? Does he go put the tea on and then have a shit and then come back and wait for the tea to cool? Or does he make the tea and then take it in with him and have the shit? Because they always go together, the tea and the shit. He's always...
Well, it's unhygienic. Well, that's all I can say there. Is I hope he washes his hands between the rooms there, because that's... the last thing you want is some sort of weird pink eye situation from handling a cup with shit stains on it.
Shitty Carl. Oh, the pre-stream squirts. That's what I call it.
Yeah, squirt gun of a card. Yeah.
All right, sorry. I had that. I thought about that before, and I'd forgotten to mention it at the appropriate time. So I mentioned it inappropriately, an inappropriate thing at an inappropriate time. All right, moving on. So with this.
These Democrats have been elected.
No,
7 or 8 is not a bunch, is it? Out of 220.
You're right at the Young Turks, so you obviously have.
I would have to check this. I haven't been following it that closely. I've had other things to do.
It's just what he does for a living, Kevin. He doesn't follow it that closely.
No, it doesn't follow that closely. He only did a stream on his own channel about it, and then asked to come on our stream and talk about it as well. But he hasn't had time. He's been screaming at people with blue hair on Tumblr.
Yeah,
he hasn't had time.
He's got his finger on the pulse.
And he's trying to get Gamergate 2 going again. He's been too busy.
Well, I want to thank you for opening that door. When you brought up the youth vote, oh, that was like opening up the door, and I was like, excuse me, watched as I sashay through Gamergate 2.0.
Yeah, gamers rise up. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So sorry, getting on with this part of it.
But weren't a bunch of corporate Democrats also unseated at the same time?
Yeah, again,
what but number got in. So, I mean,
Kristi, just to stop you there, right? You seem to be getting a little excited.
See, he's such a condescending, sexist piece of garbage, isn't he?
Yeah, which is
you got him on a point, and he went, "Oh, Kristi, you're getting really excited." So I had to step in with she's already fucked you over once, mate. Let's not do this. Yeah.
You did say you wanted to bring that up a couple times to his face.
So. Yeah. So it had to be said, but it had to be said specifically at that point. I was going to keep it back for later, but I thought, nah, fuck this absolute cock.
Oh yeah, and then when he tried to play me off as the irrational woman, that's when I came back with, no, I just find you pathetically amusing.
Yeah, that was good. I think a lot of the people, regardless of political persuasion, really enjoyed the fact that you just called him out on his desperation. Like it was so just blunt and to the point. You are desperate. This is pathetic, Carl. And he stayed for like another hour. Oh God. well, apart from his weird little rage quit thing halfway through for a couple of minutes, he stayed for an hour after we basically said, "This is pathetic. You're a shambles."
All right. Well, we'll have to get to the part where you call him out about Thomas Smith, which is why he ended up having to stay out of pride.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're anticipating so many of the zingers, guys. So.
Oh God, this is fun.
Like Revenge of Thomas. There you go, Thomas. That one was for you.
Yeah, that's one for you too, Doug.
Yeah, we were thinking about you. Okay, so on with the audio.
Okay, that's fine, right? And what I'm going to say, right, and I want you to take this seriously, no matter how amusing you find it, right? If you can't be charitable with what I'm saying, then I just won't bother having a conversation with you.
Again, the arrogance of him wandering into our show, having shit on us, called me an extremist, all that drama, and then demanding we just take his word for it.
Yeah, it's pathetic. As someone said in the chat, Sargon asking a woman to do his homework again.
Yes, basically. Yeah.
And that's the chat of this hangout rather than the hangout we're now doing.
No, and our hangout looks very good because of all the work done by our mods who got just overwhelmed. So thanks.
Yeah, well, we're about at some point we're about to see the chat go a bit fucking mental. So thank you to all the moderators who dealt with that. We were unaware that Mr. Metaco was going to be streaming part of it and sending some of his people our way. So
I don't know that. I actually don't. Actually, I watched it, and he didn't send people our way. What he had though was he had our chat in his screen.
Yes,
so,
yeah.
See themselves, and then of course when people started getting banned, that was like a siren call. But of course, people who were modding didn't know what was happening, so it was just yeah.
When I say he sent them, I didn't literally say go over, but I mean like the fact that he was mentioning that meant that lots of them were going to, that's just a natural reaction or whatever. But yeah.
Someone said that it was #2 trending on YouTube, so it was getting a lot of look.
Oh wow.
Yeah, when he was streaming it. I don't know if they said it during the show or whatever, someone in the comments. But anyway, on with the actual show that we're commenting on of our own voices, which gets really confusing. Sorry, guys.
Yes.
I don't.
Well, I'm surprised, Carl. I'm surprised you decided to have this conversation anyway, because
she can't be charitable.
No, because last time you took her on in debate, she fucking annihilated you. She made you look a right one.
Things change.
So here's the thing. You said that
things change. You've done even less preparation for this one.
So one thing that I asked
rebel.
in our Facebook conversation, you said, I'm going to get in touch with Sargon, Carl, to set it up. Or, is there anything you want to be passed on for ground rules? And I said that thing about like no interrupting, and I want everyone's points to be heard. And yet he really does constantly interrupt and talk over, especially when you start saying something he finds embarrassing. He'll talk over us.
Yeah, he does. He does this a lot. I've listened to a couple of streams with him and the kind of IBS crowd people. And And he does this whenever they've got a point that he knows is going to be embarrassing for him. He just talks over them. But that's the thing. Eventually, Carl, you have to shut up, and they will just say it. So rather than making yourself look pathetic, just go with it.
Yeah.
Or don't engage at all. One of the two. You know.
Yeah. But yeah, talking over is kind of silly. Okay.
People, this is not a test. This is a conversation. If you want to have a conversation like that, you're going to have to do it with someone else. I'm not really that interested in having that conversation.
In having a conversation where we accurately discuss which members of Congress could be called Justice Democrats, which is a term you used and brought up.
Yeah.
I don't know
Boom.
by that. You named one person, and I don't know who you mean by Justice Democrats.
Well, then maybe you'll have to go do that after the stream.
Well, I don't know why I should take your word that there are 7 or 8. There could be.
If you take my word for it.
There could be 12.
I'm not bothered if you take my word for it.
I don't care about your moral outrage.
That was such a great time to drop that reference, which he missed. But you want to explain the moral outrage comment?
Yeah, he said that to Thomas Smith when Thomas Smith was saying, well, maybe you shouldn't be sending rape tweets to members of parliament. You know, a pretty, bog standard thing to say that most people would say. He went, I don't care about your moral outrage, which is such a cunty thing to do. Don't fucking do that. That's really smug. Don't.
Yeah, so that we were just quoting him back to himself at that point. When he got upset about something, we don't care about your moral outrage, Carl.
Yeah, but basically all of the silly trolley bits were just us using things he'd done. He'd done seriously, but we were just trolling him back to the point at one point. And there's an ableist slur coming. So, but I'm just quoting Carl verbatim here. When we started doing the shut up thing to him, he said, "Why are you spurging out?" Which is a horrible phrase. And I said, well, that's the thing, Carl. This is what you've done. So by you describing us as that, when we did it, you're describing yourself in that way. Because it's your tactic put back to you.
Yep. So there you go. Look in the mirror, Carl. That's what you sound like. Definitely. Okay, getting on with it.
I'm just not going to have a pedantic conversation.
It's empirical. Conversation is not pedantry.
I think
what I said there was an empirically accurate conversation is not pedantry.
Yes, well, correct.
Yeah. I was wondering how
a regular person would watch this and think,
oh, this is it. Kristi is a sorry. Kristi is a
go ahead.
Yeah, Kristi is about to drag this motherfucker.
Well, I bring it up and then he talks over me, so I have to bring it up again in a few seconds when I have an opening. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but just get ready because this is rather brutal. Get the fucking police on speed dial because a murder is about to take place.
Some ice, incoming burn. All right.
Yeah.
She accepts his premise. She just wants to continue pushing it. So why don't we just?
Okay, so let's deal with the one Justice Democrat you know about. And one got elected out of over 225, maybe 230. The Dems are going to pick up 30 seats. So what does that say? That one person you could name got elected?
Well, it's not just one person, is it, Kristi?
But you can't show that.
I can. I'm just not going to.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Does it involve typing? So what I would say there, does it involve typing 6 words into Google?
Yeah. Oh, I missed that point. Yeah.
Well, it was because of the audio was muted, so I wanted to explain it here because that was a reference to a response we did of him mocking me when I was correcting him on a point. I did sort of like this parody video. He mocked us, and then we did a response. We watched it, and in it, he said he couldn't find the video that he was quoting, and so we looked it up and we typed in Stella gender pay gap Stella Kristi Sky News or something, and it was the first result.
Yeah, the first result on YouTube. Not even, didn't have to Google it, just on YouTube.
Yeah, on YouTube. So, yeah, he's so lazy. Anyway.
I'm not even qualified, you fools.
He called us fools. We're not even qualified, you fools. Sargon.
Yeah, amazing.
Does he realize the paradox? He's just, anyway.
Yeah, he's logic personified, this chap.
Okay.
Just have a chat about these things with you. I didn't realize that you would need to be confrontational.
Okay, so should we look at the exit polls, Carl? Should we look at the exit polls and see how they bear out?
So, do you want to put a link in the description?
I can just show it on screen.
Oh, hang on. Did I miss? Hang on. Have I messed up? Is this not the bit where you drag him?
No, because I
Okay.
tried to bring it up and then he talked over me, and then I had to wait for another opening.
Okay. Well. Get prepared because it's happening later. Apparently.
You bring up the zinger.
Oh, okay.
Using him because he asked for the link to the
Yeah.
CNN website I was using. You're about to call him on his shit.
Please put a link in the description as well. Sorry.
All right. So I have to say.
Right, guys, so you want us to show our sources, but you're not going to bother showing anything from yours. Okay.
And what I said there was, he's a hypocrite. We know this about him.
Yeah, he is. He absolutely.
Oh, Carl, the cheek of him. The cheek of him.
Can
I have to say, I was wondering how desperate you were.
About what?
You know, we're just going to slum here on the happy hour when we get maybe 70 or 80 views. And your desperation to have a fight is so hilarious to me, Carl, because especially like you've just been, I want to say, you've been a source of so much mirth on the happy hour for the last few months.
It might be a bit of projection because I didn't like you were going to be here, Kristi. I thought I was having a nice chat with Kevin.
Oh, this is where he lies. This is how he tries to get out of it.
Yeah, he's throwing his friend under the bus. But I mean, Carl, that's going to hurt. You've just been called utterly pathetic with absolute reason.
Have you seen the Social Blade lately?
I have not.
Okay, well, if you want an amusing thing, anyway, because I'm a stats person, so I went to Social Blade. Carl, back in his height, around 2006, he was touching 8 million views a month. Now he's lucky if he gets 3. He is on like a slope downward, and he maybe gets 250,000 views out of almost 900,000 viewers.
Well, that's when you do the same video for 5 years straight, that gets boring.
The only thing he does that's popular is when he does his traditional feminists are insane videos. That's pretty much it. Like that's what gets the most attention on his channel. Otherwise, he's pandering lately. He's got a video up why it's okay to be a nationalist.
Yeah, fuck him. Yeah.
So he's definitely pandering again at this point. So it continues. It didn't stop with us. Good. Yeah, that's why it's called the Kristi and Kevin's Happy Hour.
Well, I didn't realize that we were doing happy hour. I just thought I was having a chat.
No, you sent your little manservant, your little fucking carrier pigeon boy, your little milk-fed gimp. You sent him. So you clearly
that caught on.
That's become a meme. That's a thing. Well, you can thank me later, V. It's fine.
and you've used that one on our show before, I'm pretty sure. But of
course,
I
probably have, but it's just a term of sort of derision for someone who's like a kind of vaguely spineless kind of pet person,
Yeah, but a lot more people saw it, so yeah,
a
lot more people got your joke. Okay.
No, absolutely did not. I said, please ask Kev if he can have me on the show because I'd like to talk to Kev. I didn't say anything about Chris.
Oh, you wanted to be on Let Them Eat Cake.
Well, you wanted to do a show with me and Mike.
Oh gosh, you should have been more specific. Yeah.
Okay, Chris.
By the way, Sargon.
Interested in having a proper conversation. I don't mind
having a proper conversation, except you make claims that you can't back. So let's limit it to things that you can actually claim to know, like one woman's name that got elected.
On Earth that would say this is a good faith conversation.
Sure, Carl. So I just want to know how desperate
do you think there are. Who do you think would say this is?
Oh, I think it's entirely good faith. I have asking you to be able to name people that you claim are Justice Democrats.
Yeah, this is about excessive pedantry, Kristi.
No, it's not. It's called being accurate. Because it might be 11.
I don't.
Or it might be 3. You don't know. You can only name one.
I would like to actually have a nice conversation, but if you don't, I don't.
You're going to take your ball and go home, Charles, because we're asking you to back up what you say.
Carl, didn't you react really badly when Thomas Smith got up and left?
That was it. So awesome. Really well timed. Very well timed.
Indeed. Thank you.
Doing the same thing here.
I'm happy to
limit your claims to the one woman you can name, and then we'll go on. And then you can come there and show about this big
to be honest, don't you guys have like something more interesting you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, we can talk about the exit polls and look at all the people voting for the Democrats. You want?
Okay.
So I'm going to skip this bit because that's just me being empirical, which was interesting if you're on the podcast too, because I did a good job of describing the numbers. Because sometimes you forget. That's the landslide argument. So where are we?
Well, you are an empirical lyrical miracle.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, we have to go back to 27.
I don't know.
Yeah, I got it here. That's the yeah, right about here. Just trust me.
And you can tell that Metaco's people have come in because it's like Sargon getting sleepy and Smug chuckles and things in the chat. So
Yeah, that's their like discourse or their buzzword or their what do you
Yeah.
call them? Not buzzwords, like not slogans. What's the punchlines or catchphrases? That's what I was looking for. They're catchphrases. Okay. To see.
Who's your favorite out of those people?
Ocasio Cortez 2020.
I think we're talking about the midterm races, and that's what I'm talked about here. So anything you want to see?
Yeah, but I want to know your opinion on the 2020 election. I think it's way more interesting than midterms. So
we can talk about the midterms. It's going to be about 30 seconds. Sorry, it was 2020, 2720. So we're just going to listen.
Yeah, just fine.
That's what you said to V you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, next time, make your little manservant more aware of what the fuck you actually want to talk about and who you want to talk to.
Yeah, the name of the video is kind of the midterm results, so that's what we came prepared to talk about.
Although maybe we're expecting too much of his little.
We can talk about 2020 at the end of the show, Carl. We can do that.
But Carl, can I just ask you, mate? Given the numbers there on the screen about the youth vote, how do you feel about your youth outreach program? I mean, because it seems to be going really well.
Whoever this guy is, he's fucking funny. I like him.
Oh yeah, sorry, you were talking over yourself and me. So.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just saying, whoever that guy is that's talking there, he's funny. I like him. Who is he?
He's really witty.
I'm going to subscribe to that channel, definitely.
What you talked over was me bringing up Gamergate 2.0.
Oh well, if you want to skip back 20 seconds, that's fine. But well, I just wanted to point out that Kevin chap with the cat above him, he's fucking brilliant.
Well, I'm not that much in. So basically, what I did, I just dropped in Gamergate 2.0. And do you want to say what you want to describe Gamergate 2.0?
Well, it's basically Carl's really, really stupid idea, which is nothing. I mean, it's literally nothing. Where he wanted to get Trump to tweet about Gamergate, even though it's been dead for years. I mean, why would what advantage to Trump is that? I don't know. And what would it do? It would just be, oh, he's tweeted a thing, and it would be forgotten within hours. It's nothing. And so it's basically Carl desperately trying to drag back the heyday of when he was vaguely relevant. So yeah, it's pathetic. It's nothing, and he's been roundly shit on from all corners of the internet, and quite rightly so, because it's just ridiculous stupidity.
Hilarious, absolutely hilarious.
And he went. I mean, if you get a chance, and there's some, let's say there's some slightly problematic language in the stream, but if you get a chance to go and watch that stream with when his big reveal to the kind of previous Gamergate people, the idea, it's so funny because he builds it up like it's going to be this great idea. And it's literally, I want Donald Trump to do a tweet about gaming. Oh, fuck off, you absolute twat. What are you talking about? Oh, it's fun. It's fun. Also, I forgot one. Because I don't know if we're going to get that far, but we have a serious conversation bit during this as well, which we're going to skip past. So I might as well. There was a great joke I was going to do. We had that list of points we wanted to reach, like the Gamergate 2.0, I wouldn't even rape you, white N-words, all that sort of his Carl's greatest hits.
Basically.
Well, yeah. Well, one of which is it depends on the child, where Carl was basically defending it's okay to fuck some children, apparently. And so when he was talking about the child changing facilities in male toilets,
where he agreed with me.
Yeah, exactly, and that was actually a vaguely pleasant part of the conversation, which wasn't the point of this stream. God damn it!
But Carl went on to say that I agreed with all his points. Once the conversation got going, I agreed with all his points. Actually,
yeah, because he's
toilets. He agreed with me on my research findings. He agreed with me more than I agreed with him.
He's a pathetic man baby who has to try and protect his ego. So he's basically trying to turn it around. Oh, she agreed with me. No, Carl, you're an idiot. But yeah, so when he was bringing up the male baby changing stations, I was going to go, yeah, that's a really interesting point, Carl. But I mean, would you say that every child needs that kind of facility, or would it depend on the child?
Yeah,
that would have been quite nice, because I think that would have that might have been the point at which he walked out. But it was the white N-words eventually, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was when he finally, he realized the stream was coming to a close and he was actually going to be here for the closing. He had to leave because he always has to leave before the end of the stream. That's another trope of his power plays.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he arrives late and he leaves early.
To be accurate on his view, I think the way he phrased it was that when he was defending his, it depends on the child. His assertion or his defense was that puberty happens at different ages in different children, which has nothing to do with consent, which is what
Yeah.
the thing is based on. The law is based on, you idiot.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter. You can give. I mean, in theory, a fucking 5-year-old could have pubes or something. It's about having enough life experience to make the fucking informed consent choice.
Yeah, and is 16 a sort of arbitrary number? Well, not really. It's informed by health and physical development and the ability to safely deliver a baby, which you can't do when you're 12 years old.
And emotional and cultural maturity as well. Yeah.
Exactly. You know, could it be higher? Sure. Could it be 21? Yeah, maybe in some places. I don't know what the rules are, but the fact is that it's always based on the ability to give consent.
Yeah.
So age of consent, that's why it's in the name. Okay, so I want
Yeah, it's called the age of consent, not the age of fucking puberty.
Right.
Jesus.
Age of consent laws. So yeah, I actually wanted to include this little zinger that you have. I want to make sure I get it in 32. Yeah, because you just mentioned the tweet. So did I pass it? Nope. This should be just about before it. Okay, here we go. Asking for it.
I didn't know the debate. I came to the conversation.
Carl wouldn't even cite you.
That was great.
That is quite nice. That is quite nice. A call back to his aforementioned rape tweet to a member of parliament.
As we said, there's a hidden Carl's greatest hits in our hangout, you know, and it just sort of evolved naturally because we had so much material to work with.
Yeah, exactly. No matter what he said, there was always going to be some way of working in several of his catchphrases because he's got so many of them and they're so horrific.
Carl Benjamin, this is your beautiful destruction.
Yes. Exactly. Don't worry, Carl. The swelling will go down, and you'll be able to sit down normally at some point as well.
All right. So this is a landslide bit here.
That's the one.
What about the gender gap, Carl? Because women live longer as well. So we live longer. We vote at a higher rate, and we break. I'm going to skip ahead.
What?
Drizzle.
Oh.
Yes.
Sorry. This is the bit where you talk about Trump getting cucked by Drizzle. Should I skip that bit?
Yeah, that's fine. But we're talking about the World War I thing that he didn't go to. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, that's where I bring up the landslide reference. So.
Well, he's not my president at all.
Wow, you know what I mean. So
to be fair, we've got here from the wire, Trump landslide, nope. No.
That's original laughter. That was how I laughed at the time because she read it out so perfectly. It was such good time. Trump landslide? Nope. It was just brilliant. I loved it.
And your laughter was also very well timed and clear, thankfully.
Yes, yeah.
It could be heard. Okay, yeah. So I don't know how much of this you want to listen to, but I did want to at this point. I can bring up. I wanted to define because Carl asked me in the course of this what landslide meant.
See, Kristi, the problem is you've gone into your search bar there and nothing about going to any Swindon-based massage parlours came up. No. And that's disappointing to me because I would have thought with Carl being such a cultural trendsetter, you'd have definitely been going regularly, but apparently not.
So Carl asked me 2 questions. He said, what is a landslide? Can you define it? And I said something about winning a lot of the votes. And I actually went to look it up, and it's here on the screen. You can see number 2, the definition is an overwhelming majority of the votes for one party or candidate. So when he talked about, I mean, a landslide in Electoral College, I don't really think about because states vote in blocks. So in order for you to win the Electoral College in a landslide, you'd have to win the election in the landslide, and Trump lost the popular vote. So it just doesn't even mathematically, like, how could you lose the popular vote and win in a landslide in an Electoral College?
Well, it's not even a win, technically. So it's not a landslide, it's a minority.
Yes.
Like
and again, as you pointed out, it wasn't, Nixon Kennedy was a really close race. It was one of a famously close race.
Well, I missed it at the time, but someone, the Progressive Voice did a couple of videos on our hangout, and he pointed out quite a good joke, which it was quite a snidey little one, I suppose, but it was quite nice, which I'd forgotten I totally said. When he was going on, if you just play the video through for the next minute or so, it'll come up, but basically about mentioning those 2 presidents.
Yeah, and the fact that he named them because he could recognize them.
Yeah, brilliant. He literally did. He just saw two names he recognised and went, "Oh well, Nixon and Clinton." But the thing is, Nixon and Clinton aren't remembered, and Nixon and Kennedy aren't remembered because of the size of their landslide victories, or otherwise, as the case was. They're remembered because they left office early for different and unfortunate reasons on both occasions. That's So the fact that you can name two presidents is not very impressive, Carl. I mean, that look at the ones ahead of him. He's the 12th narrowest ever.
And you know what it reminded me of? The guy from Anchorman. I can't remember the character's name, but he's like, I like lamp. I like.
Yeah, the Steve Carell character. Yeah.
She's like, are you just naming things in the room?
Yeah.
Carl's like, Kennedy, Nixon. Oh, I know those. I'll just.
It would be brilliant if Carl just went onto a stream and just started going loud noises.
Also, the other question, sorry to bring it back, that Carl asked me was what I thought a landslide was. And I think anything 4 points and above is a landslide. Here it says an overwhelming majority. So when I said 4%, that's an opinion because they're in the definition. It doesn't say 6.725 and above is a landslide. It's a concept. And then, you can, because you say 65%, is that a landslide? Sure. Is 60? Yeah. Is 57? Yeah. And then it starts to get like, okay, where is it? And that's why it's an opinion.
Well, I would say it's significantly higher than 4%. I think we're talking more 60-40 and above.
Well, again, this is something we could debate. Not the point I wanted to make, but again, I just have a really conservative view of what a landslide is because I think elections tend to be generally a lot closer. But anyway,
they do, but especially in a 2-horse race, which essentially is in America, I think we're talking big numbers. But we're talking at least towards 60%. I don't think Trump's 48% counts, really.
Well, again, that's a good rule of thumb, but I mean, you're not going to change my mind in the chat, so we can get back to.
Well, no, I am Kristi. It doesn't matter if it takes all fucking night. You are going to bend to my will, Wams.
That's what people came to hear, us debate how large a landslide really is because of pedantry, the kind that Carl was criticizing us for.
Well, I quite like. I hope it's sarcastic. Someone in the chat for the original hangout says Kev is being pedantic by calling rain drizzle. Nice.
Oh, that's other. Can I just say to the progressive voice who is mad at me because I supported Hillary in the primary, dude, 2015 called and it wants its anger back. Get over it.
Well, I can't say anything because he said I was okay for now. So I mean, on the internet, that classifies as a compliment. So I'm going to take it and just shut up.
Yeah, I'm not holding on to beef from the Al Gore primary. We got to move on to the next election. Stop fighting.
Well, why didn't you support Warren G?
Last war. Now, what did you want to say?
I was just saying, why didn't you support Warren G. Harding? It's outrageous.
Exactly. All right. So, okay.
Chester A. Arthur, 2020.
All right. So then with the landslide, let's see. What the hell did I write? Then we have a discussion about, okay, we're getting to 41, which is when I had my quote, you prefer to make things up, but I prefer to look them up, which I was very happy about. I think that's about really all I have. Because he wants, this is what he did. He said, blah, 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 because I'm far left, aren't I? And then he wanted to have you describe why he was far left. And then he demanded that I...
Far right.
I'm sorry. Yes. Sorry. Far right. I'm sorry. I just take all of that back. Just rewind and say right when I said left. So thanks, Kevin. But and so he invited the question basically because he wanted, this is again what he does. He asks a question. He frames it in such a way that he can then put you on the defensive by merely asking you more questions instead of actually offering his own views or his own points that he can back up. And this is another really dishonest tactic that, he doesn't deserve charity when he comes on to with people that don't like him and he pulls this shit.
Well, that's the thing. It's a very slippery creationist-like tactic of essentially never wanting to have to give their firm position because then they can be attacked on it. He likes to pretend that he's got everything sorted. Like it's a really underhand piece of rhetoric.
And all his tactics are.
Well, yeah.
A lot of, yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of go ahead to 41, and then we're flying blind because that was all I did precision time stamping for. And Kevin didn't do any because didn't do anything on the principle that the whole thing is great unedited. So.
It is, apart from the actual positive piece of conversation, because that was a bit boring.
Well, we're going to talk about my reactions to that. So, but we don't have to listen to it. So let's see what we've got here.
I can't
Kristi,
look up your opinion on what far right is. Kristi, I have to ask.
Kristi,
Yeah.
Kristi, have you even read Hobbes?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I bollocks that up because it was supposed to be luck, but it works just as fine. It's the same basic concept.
Yeah. No, that was also very well timed because it was just descending into the kind of bickering he likes. And so it threw the conversation into a different direction. So there was a well-timed quip, even if you got the author wrong.
Yeah, I'm totally the wrong author.
That's all right. But I like Hobbes as well. I kind of not prefer him to Locke. I just think he's
All right, let's not go down this fucking road.
All right.
It's like having Sargon back on. Jesus.
Actually, I enjoyed Hobbes. I think
you should be winning the conversation because Kristi doesn't even own the suit. So I mean, it's embarrassing, right?
there you go. There's your suit reference.
There we go. She doesn't own a suit. It's embarrassing. Well, that's the. I hope Carl's listening because I purposely I'm wearing a top hat and tails, the full works tonight because I want his respect. So and that's the only way to get it is by wearing a fucking. The suit thing was so funny because he reacted so badly. It's like he's just learned how to use the internet rather than been on it for fucking years earning his living.
He's not used to being the one being criticized or mocked. He's definitely He takes himself way too seriously.
Well, he does. He's for a man who's got such a big YouTube channel. He's got such thin skin. How has he survived?
Well, you have to do a new proportion of thickness of neck to thinness of skin.
Yeah, that was an old joke repackaged from me there from about Thunderfoot.
Who tweeted out that hangout?
Yeah, amazing.
And he was mocking Carl too.
Well, yeah, because Carl got that's the thing. Carl's burnt so many bridges that even people like Thunderfoot, who should naturally be allies of some sort, but because they disagreed on Brexit, he had to make him out to be like some evil monster. But I'd just like to point out Thunderfoot has me blocked on Twitter, so fuck him and his free marketplace of ideas bullshit.
Well, he doesn't have me, so I was able to see it and went, damn, how low has Sargon gone when Thunderfoot is willing, because he really dislikes you, and then I basically batted back his bull crap claims that Philip Moriarty built on, expanded on further the basis of. But I was like, wow, he must really be hated by so many people, to overcome that for Thunderfoot. So like I said, it's been a weird week. It's been watching the reactions has been like popcorn time. Like I did not.
Well, apparently, I only saw a very brief clip of it, but the liberalist group that attended the what's it called? The was it Mythicist Millwall? No, it was some other event. Anyway, and they had like a liberalist group there, and they were dissing Carl, even though he set up the liberalist thing because he'd left to join UKIP. So even the groups he starts hate him. Someone posted on Twitter in the media and the photos. I was looking for stuff on the reactions to this, and it was in his Sargon's Reddit where someone was like, he was not bullied and he didn't come with any evidence. He didn't know what he was talking about. So the blowback on this, well, how people, how Sargon came up with the concept of Sargon derangement syndrome to describe people who criticize him. I actually think there's a new phenomenon now that our live stream sort of like gathered together and put a laser-like focus onto to make it a pure emotion. It's Sargon regret syndrome. It's people who used to watch him 2 years ago and now look back and go, what the fuck was I thinking? Well, not just that, but that whole Sargon, that is a very good point. But the whole Sargon derangement syndrome thing, it's stupid it's stupid in two main ways, it seems to me. Firstly, it shows how he's prepared to steal stuff, right? Because that comes from, like, there was Bush derangement syndrome and Obama derangement syndrome and Clinton derangement syndrome. Like, and then secondly, he's putting himself on par with American presidents. Like, he's literally doing that by saying, "Oh, you've got Sargon derangement syndrome." Like, you asked to come on our show. What the fuck?
So anyway, I just thought that was I also reflected on that as I've watched people like contact me and react in the comment sections. So, all right. So just continue blah, 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 with this.
Yeah. Can we try and? Oh, I don't know how we could skip forward because I want to see the part where he kind of gets butthurt and rage quits for a couple of minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see if we can find that. Does he drop? Okay. Let's go ahead a little bit here.
Yeah.
I'll just hit play. So sorry, guys, if I'm just going to skip ahead a bit.
Buddy watching, you're so full of shit.
Right, okay.
And I think
that'd be better than by actually having a talk on the ideas that we hold.
Well, we were talking about the midterm results. I was trying to show you the data.
Yeah, we've given you, well, Kristi has given you links to information, actual numbers and statistics, which show you're wrong, and you just go, well, that's my opinion. You're not here to have a conversation. You're here to tell it live.
I don't
You're
think
basically Donald Trump trend. You're the reference of Trump
on past data. It depends what happens in the future. We don't know. I mean, you guys probably didn't see Brexit and Trump coming, did you?
All right, I'm going to skip ahead again.
So I might be far right. I might be genuinely far right.
He wants to talk about the roles are only X and Y and Z. Okay. Oh, sorry. We got to go past the. Sorry, I didn't realize. It was obviously if I would have thought about it, but I'm running a show live, so it's a bit hard that it has to be after the actual decent conversation that we're entirely skipping over.
Attractive as they get older.
Oh yes, all the patronizing stuff. And where he brings up the very obvious link between testosterone and sort of aggressiveness being part of competitiveness, that everybody sort of comes
boring.
At that age, do you feel like they have the world in front of them? Okay, it's still the boring stuff. Sorry. Don't know where it is. I might just have to come in the middle. But I think your deconstruct means what? You need to unpack and ask why are we
change yourself. What?
I mean, it's not.
No,
hang on. It's not outside of the logic of
the ones who always have to be out, or is it discriminate? Okay.
Be feminists towards each other, and do the feminist cronies.
Right. Yeah.
Done that were important. It's exactly the same kind of thing with that.
But he gave his talk.
Yeah, he wasn't blocked.
I think I missed it. Damn it.
Yeah, I think it was before the good conversation.
Okay. Let me go back. Sorry, guys. If anyone in the chat, I have an eye on it. If you have a timestamp for that, let me know. Okay. Okay. And what about the effects of modernity on negating to fire a gun? So, sorry, you said it was before the.
I think so. Yeah.
No, you're right, because he had his rage quit and then he came back and then it started to get better. So.
Yeah. What did I say in the video?
Well, you said you weren't bested. Now you said you were.
No, I said I made mistakes and that you won that one.
Yeah, you were made to look a prick. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I don't think that's the same thing. But
no, I didn't make him look like a prick. He did that all on his own.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, zing. Oh, that's an elbow from the sky. Lovely stuff.
I'm glad we caught that because, oh, that was just amazing. When
that must have felt good. That must have felt really good.
And then you know what the cherry was on top was when he piped up at the end and went, yeah, that's exactly right.
Oh, fucking hell. He's so dumb. He's so fucking dumb.
Right. I didn't make him look a prick. He did that all by himself.
Yeah, of course I did. Yeah, I made myself look a complete prick. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Just savoring it. Sorry. To say that to his face was like, so, mwah, mwah. Right.
Well, when you talking about that sexual abuse with the spunk on her face, on the woman's face, and you started laughing like a little child, is that the kind of decorum you were at?
Is
that the kind of that's decorum?
What are you talking about, Kev?
I've seen the footage of Kristi's fucking debate with you, and when she mentions a sexual assault and a graphic description thereof, you start giggling like a child.
He didn't get that far.
I can't actually remember.
So what I said there was he didn't get that far into H Bomber Guy's video.
Yeah. God.
Because that's where he in the H Bomber Guy video, he really expands the screen so it's all filled up with Carl, and you watch his live reactions, and it's hard. So
yeah.
Okay.
Remember that.
That's a surprise.
I'm just saying that
you've got such a great memory for these things.
No, I have a terrible memory.
Yes, Carl, I was joking. I was literally mocking you, and you went ahead with the conversation. Okay.
Amazing. He's such a dense prick, isn't he? I was literally saying you've got a terrible memory, but in joke form, he went, "No, actually, I've got a terrible memory." Oh fuck.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
Yeah, he wants pity. He wants pity, and he wants to be able to throw contempt at people. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you can tell the mythical people are in. Sargon needs more dopamine.
Yeah.
It's another one of their things. I don't know where that comes from. I don't know what it's about, but it seems to annoy him, so that's fine.
Okay, on we go.
Feelings. I'm here.
I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm trying to expose to everybody watching that you're so full of shit.
Right. Okay.
And I think
that'd be better than by actually having a talk on the ideas that we hold.
Well, we were talking about the midterm results. I was trying to show you the data.
Yeah, we've given you, well, Kristi has given you links to information, actual numbers and statistics, which show you're wrong, and you just go, well, that's my opinion.
I don't.
You're not here to have a conversation. You're here to tell it live.
I don't
You're
think
basically Donald Trump.
trend
You're the representative of Trump.
on past data. It depends what happens in the future. We don't know. I mean, you guys probably didn't see Brexit and Trump coming, did you?
Well, President was in the margin. All right. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. A couple of minutes.
Yeah, just like maybe 2, because it happens pretty fast.
And refuse to give us a link to anyone else.
Yeah, we've been okay. We're just going over Olgren now. Let's go. He can get off air, and then we can chat about him after.
Why don't you just talk about the next subject? I mean, I genuinely want to know what you guys see to be far right. So I might be far right. I might be genuinely far right. I'm trying to work this out, but no one will give me an accurate description.
The usual
right.
trad view of gender relations.
I'm not saying no one, especially if you look at the expression of the necessary differences.
No, now we're back to the. Sorry, we're back to the.
Well, maybe it is after. I don't know. I can't do it. But anyway, he rage quit for a couple of minutes, whatever. Should we just skip past? Let's see if it's after then. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel bad as I had got distracted. If anyone knows, I feel like well, of course I did the first 41 minutes, so I can't feel so bad. It's just
I did the first and last no minutes. So
yes. Well, yes. I've been going ability to control our reproduction better. Don't you think that the breakdown of those two things that used to structure our society then opens up?
Did I not insult?
There we go, Carl.
That's if you waste my time, I'll waste your time.
There we go.
there we go.
Okay. It was actually like, it was like minute 42.
So it was just after the Hobbs crackery.
Yeah.
Crackery? That's a slightly weird and slightly racist phrase.
Crackers. That's what came to mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Anyway, but yeah, I mean, the white N words, and yeah, before we even get to the white N words, it's right at the end. I just want to. I do use the actual N word, but it's quoting Carl verbatim, and I thought the impact of that was worth it. It's not a word I intend to use very often on my channel, or on Kristi's channel, as the case may be. But I thought it was worth it on this occasion, and it clearly was, because he just quit at that point. So
yeah, okay. So here we go.
Slew of your questions.
Shut up.
Again, that cackling in the background was original laughter from me. So I mean, I literally felt I was creased over on my. I've got like a little couch in my spare room where I was recording that one, and I was in pieces. It was brilliant.
Yeah, I was also when you went, I was like, oh yes, this is the moment. This is the moment.
Yeah.
And I just jumped in, and so we could do it together. Yeah, and of course that's a reference to what he did at MythCon to Richard Carrier. So
yeah, old Dickie Carrier.
Mm-hmm.
who I mean, milk-fed gimp again. Sums him up rather nicely. But yeah, as if who would take another person screaming shut up at them in their face that calmly? That's pathetic, really.
Well, I was more depressed by his constant need to agree with Carl, because it feels.
Yeah, there was that, but just on a basic level, have some backbone and say, "Don't tell me to shut up, you little prick." And who the fuck do you think you are? Yeah, and to Mario Guerrucci. Although I suppose there's a financial vested interest in him not doing so to Mario. Again, milk-fed gimp. But yeah, he could. Yeah, Mario, you're going to step in at any point. You're supposed to be the moderator, and he's literally shouting "shut up" repeatedly, and you're not going to say anything.
Yep, it's just useless. Absolutely.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Carl, we're using your tactics against you.
Exactly.
You at the bar.
What you do?
You just act like Spurs, then I'm happy for you to act like Spurs.
Carl, we just did what you did live on stage. So the fact that you're describing it in that way, you're describing yourself in that way.
Oh, I don't care about your moral outrage. That's what I brought the
Nice. That is a firm zing.
I mean, and that one you can use at any time he tries to high road you.
Well, exactly. Yeah, he's set it up. That's the whole point of the kind of bullshit nihilist or pseudo nihilist thing. When you say I don't care, that means whenever you then get upset, as you inevitably will, because you're a human being, emotions exist. People can just say, "Well, I don't care about your moral outrage."
Yeah, there you go.
You've basically rendered the concept of outrage pointless, which is stupid and ultimately illogical, bizarrely, considering it's an emotion, but there we go.
Yeah. And I don't know if we're going to get to it, but another thing that he said, this time it was with Richard Carrier on the MythCon stage, was his complaint about social justice warriors and why we're all awful and everybody hates us and wants us to go away, is because, in his words, you can't make compassion compulsory.
Yeah.
And that's what SJWs want to do. So when, apropos of nothing, he brings up the harassment he's getting in his from a personal tragedy from people on the far right, and was demanding, for us to have pity on him and take his side, I came back with, well, I guess you can't compel compassion more to the people who are doing it, because we didn't bring it up and we're not participating in it. But by the sword, died by the sword. If those are your views.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. The ribbing he's received from people based on that awful thing that happened to him.
And I think it's
it is. It's disgusting, and you can call me a virtue signaling cuck if you wish, but I think that's an absolutely awful thing to be doing. But I can't feel sorry for him just on the basis that he's done this before. He giggled at you describing in rather graphic detail that rape case. He mocked our dead friend. He's like, yeah, and he said, that I don't care about your moral outrage. So why should anyone else care about his?
That's really, these are all the things that we're building up, that we're behind this hangout. So for people who are upset with us for being on and giving him airtime, we felt that doing this was going to be worth it. If, somewhat selfishly for me, it was an amazing therapy to face him, because again, I haven't spoken with him on a hangout or, in any way except a hangout. It's the most personal way in 2.5 years. And so having this, and I wasn't a complete jerk. I made several peace offerings to try to get a discussion going while also setting up boundaries to tolerate. And yeah, I planned on taking the piss because that's British humor. But yeah, I think that it's really exposed him. And anyway, I'm rambling now, so we can get on.
Well, no, yeah. And to that point, I think we're perfectly justified, because I think our approach to it worked out nicely.
Yeah,
and I can understand some people not being happy about it. That's fine. I don't think you're going to change their mind regardless, and that's entirely up to them. But I think, firstly, you have to understand I do YouTube for me. It's cathartic for me. So if this opportunity comes up, I'm going to take it. And I think we did expose how full of shit it was as well. Sunlight was at least a partial disinfectant on this occasion.
Yeah, and we didn't know we were going to be restreamed or snipe streamed by Medicare. And that audience of course, just we thought maybe be 100 people of our fans and then a bunch of Sargon people coming to hate on us. That's what I was prepared for. And so having a positive reaction in that community, again, to just calling out what is obviously bullshit. It's like I said, it's been surprising. And when it comes to the comments, Kevin doesn't really moderate the comments in his channel so much. But for me, I have a standard of slurs and, telling people to kill yourself and other things that I hold it down. And if people are going to come over and not violate those rules, I'm not going to flag them down because I suspect they might be associated with someone. A lot of people were conservatives who were coming over. They weren't, far right. They were just on the right saying, I like your show. So, I can't know a person's soul and know what they really think. If people think that there's stuff under my comments that should be reported, well, then flag it and it'll go into my thing and I'll have a look. But I don't think that we should be judged because of circumstances beyond our control, or also be judged because other people that we disagree with also had a positive reaction that we were really setting up for more of the progressive community.
Yeah. Also, just as a FYI for everyone, I don't moderate my stuff so much because I don't even really look a lot of the time, unless I say specifically at the end of the video, leave your thoughts below. Then I do want to know, but most of the time I don't really look that much because YouTube comments are the pit of hell.
Yes, and you don't want to be dealing with that. Okay, so get on, because this is actually the bit where we were looking for on wasting everybody's time before. So we should now. We've been making them wait for it. So I'll play the video.
Oh,
this is amazing. I'm so glad we did this.
Carl, are you still there?
Oh, I hope he picks up his marbles and goes home. Oh, no. He couldn't even make an hour. Those were, I was dying. I didn't.
Yeah, that was brilliant. That was so funny for me because I just thought this is the happiest think I've ever heard, Kristi. This is brilliant.
As I said, it was therapeutic in so many levels. Yeah, and that was like genuine joy, just at the idea that he rage quit. And I didn't know what I didn't even consider the fact that he would come back. Just the fact that he marbles.
Well, I genuinely thought he'd rage quit, but forgot to press the X, and so it was just like a window open on his desktop or whatever. But then he came back, and I was howling.
Oh my
God. Was brilliant.
When he came back, I just thought, what sort of pettiness as a person would you have to be to sort of all right, I'm just going to walk away and not talk to you guys. And then I'm going to sort of reinsert myself and say, oh, are we ready to have a conversation? Like, we're adults that need to be put on a timeout. And I just thought, oh my God, this is so hilarious because it's not working at all.
Well, it basically gave us 2-3 minutes to just knock him as his little avatar just sat there in silence. Brilliant.
Yeah. And just, and genuinely laugh at him and be just, it's like someone who's an asshole who goes to the bathroom and you just talk about what an asshole they are before they get back.
Yeah, but there are, hundreds of people watching. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, my sides are gonna hurt from laughing.
I can still see him in the room, but it's not.
Yeah, he's just muting himself and waiting for us to be done. He's just sort of steaming. I'm just not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything. You guys are being childish.
I don't know. But him being silent is actually he's making more sense now. He's making fewer stupid points.
Well, at least he's not trying to reverse this into an interrogation when he just wanted to have a chat.
But look at all of the Justice Democrats, like that one person.
That one person I can name. Yes. Oh my God.
And I like the fact that one of his defenses was, I haven't prepared for this.
You ask Kristi and Kevin if I can come on their show and talk about the midterms, but I'm not going to prepare.
I'd be quite offended that I'd had a little joke at Fee's expense as well. There really is a kind of symbiotic relationship between them. It's quite cute.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess I've gotten. I'm just going to tell you what my opinion on the far right is.
I'm not wasting time.
Sorry, we were just talking a bit too much, so I tried.
Where did you go?
Sorry, there we go.
Offended that I'd had a little joke at Fee's expense as well. There really is a kind of symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
Quite cute.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess I've gotten. I really was genuine about that thing about B, and it didn't mean.
Are we ready to have a discussion now?
Where did you go? Where did you go?
Time out, Kevin. We were on a timeout.
Now, if you waste my time, I'll waste your time. What's wrong with that? Not fair.
Oh, this gets better and better. Oh, for the full hour. Oh, so yeah, what I said was that. Yeah, this gets better and better. Please stay for the full hour.
Yeah, it was brilliant. We absolutely ripped him for half an hour, and he came back. He came back for like another hour of it. Oh God!
All right, so we already skipped ahead, so we're not going to do that part twice.
Yeah, let's just go. Yeah, the last sort of 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes or something. Yeah.
Right. Well, I'll back it up, and maybe you can. I don't know if you remember, but we'll go from.
You can back it up anytime you want, girl. Absolutely.
Yeah, because you're all about that bass. That was the joke.
I am.
For the podcast, I took all the bass out, and Kevin said in the pre-show chat, like, "Oh, Kristi, I'm all about that bass." All right. Hey, Kevin.
I don't know if you think that this is something like that people don't see.
Yeah, appeal to incredulity. Nice logical fallacy. How can you not see? I don't understand. It's just like left jab, right jab.
It's brilliant because you're literally in such floods of tears here, just crying with laughter, and he carries on. He's still there. Well, Carl, anyone with any semblance of a backbone would have just gone fuck this and left. It would have been embarrassing. Because you rage quit, blah blah blah. But who sits there and takes this for an hour and a half? Really?
Well, the other thing is he could have just actually bantered back and tried to be a bit wittier and funnier and less, serious.
Yeah, but as previously discussed, he has brought some weak sauce to the state fair. It's embarrassing.
Well put for a guy who's never been to a state fair.
Never have, almost certainly never will. But I understand the reference.
All right, I'm just going to hit play because I'm befuddled. All right, so hey, Kevin, we said we were going to try to keep it to an hour. We are currently at an. Yeah, it's up to Kevin because we said an hour. It's getting an hour 90.
Probably done.
Yeah, Kev can't go on any longer on his own, can he?
Well, like I said,
after an hour and a half of you absolutely annihilating him, we still tried to have a sexist jab of, yeah, he can't go on his own, can I? You'd absolutely annihilated him. You'd made him look like a pathetic little. I believe the phrase they use is manlet. And then he goes, "Oh yeah, but Kevin can't go on his own." Oh, that's poor. Again, weak sauce.
Oh, very. Yeah. I mean, that's because your stuff is witty and funny. It kind of comes out of left field, and his is schoolyard.
Yeah, I mean, he is. Well, he's Trump, isn't he? Horse face. Oh, fuck's sake.
It's
But that is not even banter. That's just embarrassing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. To an hour, and like I said, this conversation could maybe go on again because it's highly entertaining and sometimes actually interesting.
Well, I think that's actually it hadn't even occurred to me. This Carl was clearly upset because this went on for how many Sargons? It's a lot.
Many Sargons.
Yeah, it's what 12? Oh no, 20 odd or something. It's a lot of Sargons, and he was getting sleepy by this point. He was tired. He had to go.
It was like 9:30 at night or something.
Exactly. Well, he's got to get his beauty sleep in.
Yeah. And to be honest, one of the reasons I was honestly getting tired. One, I was jet lagged. I just landed on Friday morning from my trip back to America, and
excuses. I don't hear your fucking excuses.
Honestly, I was just exhausted because I'd been laughing so much.
Yeah, I was sweating. I'll be honest. I was laughing so much, and my stomach was getting cramped up. I started to sweat. It was quite embarrassing considering that this was 2 degrees outside or something.
Yeah, so I was just like, okay, we've done the hour. We had a decent conversation. And I just wanted to speak to that a little bit. So yeah, that was weird. Like I was not I hadn't prepared anything for it. It was very organic. If you listen to that part of it, you'll see it sort of evolves. But what changed was that Carl stopped looking for a gotcha moment. He listened attentively and processed, of course, through his own filter, but processed what I was saying and then engaged in it in a way that wasn't, well, what do you think of right wing is so that I can pick apart your definition. He actually gave something back in return in the conversation. And that's, again, when I was talking about olive branches, I did extend him a couple olive branches over the course of the whole show. And when he made the, like I said, the obvious observation about testosterone being linked to aggression and competitiveness, and yeah, that was right. And I'm not going to say if someone says 2 + 2 = 4, if I dislike them, that they're wrong. That's the conclusion a lot of people come to because it's an obvious one. So, if I don't, it would how I feel about having another conversation with Carl, I would definitely take the piss out of him and like this again. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
No, I could not be on with him and not do this. This would have to be a part of it because this is how we would interact now. Because I've got an experience of this, I got a taste of it, and I got practice with it. And you better believe next time I'm going to have things, little notes to myself because we just did this off the tops of our head and we missed things. And we talked about this in our private chat, hangout, watching it back afterwards because we were both so hyped up and wanted to watch it back. But him being the vulnerable minority and stuff. Because there's just so much material to work with. So we could have a serious conversation, but he's not going to get away from the ribbing. Those two things come together.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I've tried to have serious conversations with him, and it always ends up with him. He wants it all on his terms, doesn't he?
Yeah. And when he stopped wanting it on his terms, that's when the actual interesting conversation happened.
Yeah.
So because I know we're mostly watching the piss-taking part, but that was also part of it. And I think it was good that people who normally have a very sort of unsophisticated idea of what feminists are like, got to hear me present my points and got me to take up an explanation of why division of labor when it comes to diaper changing or nappy changing is a feminist issue because it's a division of family labor. It's private home, private life kind of stuff. And that's where feminism is articulated. And yeah, you could take a Marxist view of it, but at its heart, it's an issue about sex differences and gender roles based on those different, those biological.
Kristi.
Yeah. Okay. Am I getting too nerdy?
Well, usually I don't mind, but
yeah,
this is a shit stream. Come on.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, wrapping up, I'm going to just move on because we want to get to Kevin's zinger at the end.
a cigarette briefly, and that was.
If you waste my time, then I'm going to.
Well, again, we saw what happened when you actually honestly engaged with us.
You didn't waste our time, Cole. We had enormous.
Well, we did have enormous fun. That was
We
amazing.
thought you might have had a heart attack.
Do you not
What?
understand that, like, you are still wasting my time right this second?
I wanted to say how much. Wait. I wanted to say how much I appreciated the honest, what I felt like was an honest conversation between us on agency and communion and actual data and study and findings. And I felt
An actual conversation broke out halfway through an hour. Of talk.
It wasn't for lack of my engagement.
no, it was, Carl.
Your engagement.
All right. Well,
it was, wasn't it?
we're right back to where we started from.
Was I looking for the conversation that we had, or were you?
I think we're right back to fighting where we started from, so I think it's a good place to end. So I want to thank you guys in the chat. I have no idea what's happened in the chat. I'm dying to see what you guys have said.
Oh, fucking shit! It's always shit in there. Jesus.
Well, yeah, that's probably be a nightmare. And Sargon, Carl.
And you can approach it like an adult. Is that possible?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know. I had so much fun.
you act like a white person, Cole.
So there we go. Why can't you act like a white person?
Yep, that's another one of his classics.
Yep. So tick that one off your greatest hits list.
Is that possible?
I reckon I can play N-word now. What's happening? Jesus.
I'm trying to be nice now. You said N-word.
Oh, did I? I thought I'd said. Oh, maybe I didn't then. Okay.
Okay.
It was late, and I was getting sleepy. I need more dopamine. Clearly.
Right. We'll just get him leaving. Oh, come on, guys, break it up.
Oh, I'm not. It was fun. He went. I didn't expect to the end. Oh,
no, he couldn't. No, he always has to leave before the end because he's sleepy or he has something to do. That's the trope.
I thought that was my
He's
N-word.
got to. He can't remember. No, you said that before. Okay, so is that the highlight?
That'll do, because then this is just me and you just dunking on him a little bit more. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, that was beautiful. Should we do our favorite comments compilations?
Yeah, I've had my screen shared for a long time. So, I've got to.
Do you want me to screen share first then?
Yeah, it's your turn now for a while to run the projector.
Okay, I'll do that then. Hang on, screen share. Screen. Are you going to lock on me?
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Thanks, Kevin. Copilot. Thanks.
Hang on. Why is it not sharing? Oh, it's not responding now. Oh, bugger.
Of course it wouldn't, because now we're live on air.
Yeah, that would be really unfortunate if that happened now. And now it's just got the fucking blue circle going round and round. Fuck off.
Actually, I've got mine up. Should I share my screen again?
Well, I won't be able to see you. It's pointless.
Why? Oh, your computer? You can't see your computer?
No, I can see it. Well, I don't know what it's doing. Yeah, just do yours, I suppose.
Right. Well, keep me updated. Can you see my screen?
No.
All right. Well, these were the ones. I mean, they weren't all the funny ones. I thought Kevin would find the funny ones. So
Yes, you were correct. You went high, I went low.
Well, of course, for me, I have to say it's been gratifying the number of people who have reached out to say, I used to think you were a moron and Sargon was a genius, as we'll see. And so I picked out some of the Sargon regret syndrome people. So let's see. I disagree with almost everything Kristi Winters stands for, but boy, it was fun watching her and Kevin slap Sargon around. Just wondering if he now sees himself as Alexander of Macedonia or Leonidas of Sparta. He's very smart. And then Carl is delusional if he thinks he can hold his own against an actual political scientist.
Yep.
All right, next one. I just don't understand why Carl walks into these discussions. He's humiliated every single time. Actually, I do understand why. Cognitive dissonance. He's too thick to realize how useless he is. The stuff about his
Oh, that's perfect. What a great description. He's too thick.
Oh, you dropped out a bit there. Now everybody can hear it on my side. When you come back, let me know. So I'll just read. The stuff about his child being used against him is disgusting, but it's being done by people like Worski, who Carl has allied himself with. The problem is when he sat by as they mocked murder victims, he didn't realize the wheel would turn around and he'd be on the receiving end before too long. So I'm starting to wonder now if Kevin's computer problems is meant. Oh, no, you're back. You're here.
Hello?
Yeah, hi.
Hello. I may have to drop out very briefly because my computer's being mental.
That's fine.
If you want to entertain people for a minute.
We ended at it's a good time for this. All right. So the next one, again, this is sort of like a, yeah, people, I guess what I see it is having a different perception of feminists because, again, we were able to, with our banter, to take Carl down. If you had told me 12 months ago that not only would Winters and Logan make Sargon look like a total buffoon, but that I would be on their side while they did it, I guess I'd have to call you insane. And now here we are, and then there's a sort of Medicare or Applebee's group kind of reference. Weird seeing all this happen. I remember seeing Sargon rise from obscurity to being very influential in the internet political sphere, to the last 2 years where he's basically descended into being a lol cow. Never thought I'd see the day Kevin Logan and some rando that would be me, completely humiliate Sargon of Akkad. As a rightist, I can say Carl Benjamin has done one thing. He has given both the right and left some common ground to make fun of. Cheers. Right. This one, yeah, I actually put this one up on Twitter, so you guys might have seen this one. This genuinely makes me sad. At the end, when you ask Sargon to give some evidence for the deep influence of feminism in government and culture, I really expected him to have something. This is the topic that Carl has supposedly been cultivating an expertise in for the last 5 years. He says that research is now his full-time job. By now, he should be able to rattle off mountains of facts with which to bury any opponent. He should be a leading expert with no need to bother Googling anything on this topic ever again. This is what he does. And he's got nothing. Nothing. If it wasn't clear to me before, it's crystal now. He's just a lazy, vapid, uneducated nobody with a popular YouTube channel. What an utter embarrassment. So that one was like really, it struck me a lot. Oh, Kevin, are you back? I can hear you.
I agree with all of the things your commenters said. That they were fantastic, whatever it was.
When did you come into it?
That's what she said.
Oh, so well timed. See, this is why Sargon can't handle you. He can't handle your he's not ready for this jelly, I guess is what I was trying to say.
He's not.
He's not ready for your jelly, Kevin. All right, Sargon is hopelessly unprepared for this. He doesn't seem to follow anything and have to look at that later and get back to you. And this is literally what he is paid to do.
Yeah, that's true. It's his job and he can't do it.
Since Sargon is refusing to name the Justice Democrats who got elected to the House of Representatives, I will. There were 7 Justice Democrats elected to the House of Representatives, and they were Raul Grivalyov, sorry for slaughtering all these names, Rokhana Aya Presley, Rashida Tlaib. That's probably really wrong, so I'm really...
That is awful. Where have you got the extra I at the end there?
You're right. I think I was looking ahead.
Rahul Grihalva.
Yeah, till I think they... Anyway, I would say Tlaib. Onan Omar, a Somalian-born American Muslim, and the other one is a Pakistani-American Muslim. So I don't think Carl will be happy about her getting elected either, given his aforementioned bigotry. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and
2020.
Pramila Jayapal. See how easy it was to name them, Carl, you fucking right-wing propagandist hack.
Oh, Peter. If I'm ever in your area, come along, I'll buy you a pint. That was lovely.
Oh, I thought a kind of different offer was coming down the line.
I'll suck him off as well, but I mean, we'll have a drink first, eh?
Yes. All right. Well, Sargon got owned. Now I'm a big Bearing fan, so I have my feelings on good old Fisty here, but credit where credit is due. She buried Sargon alive.
Oh wow, so even pricks agree. Okay.
Yeah. What really kind of blows my mind are like the people who wrote Fisty is greater than Sargon.
Yeah, that's odd. That's odd. That Sargon, that's got to hurt. That's got to hurt, mate.
So when you're getting respect from Bearing fans, for me, it just shows how powerfully we owned him.
Yeah, you are lower than pun scum.
So
Jesus.
Did we have the conversation about how there's a controversy in the right about whether or not people can enjoy this hangout that we made?
Yeah, I suppose. People were a bit like, oh, well, they're feminists. Oh, God. But I think most people were like, actually, it's just funny to see Carl get dunked on. Yeah,
I just thought it was interesting watching them kind of have purity politics.
Oh, of course there is. Carl, yeah, absolutely. Of course they do. Yeah. Is there any one of them that hasn't been called a cuck by one of the others?
Yeah. But it's sort of like you can't even enjoy this content. But I'm not, judging. I'm for free speech. Anyway, I loved how Carl kept crying, "I'm an amateur," as if that's a legitimate excuse. I'm an amateur. I'm only an amateur.
Except you're literally not, because you get paid to do this.
Yes. Kristi, I never listened to your show. Politically, I am leaning right, so I'm not on your side. But the way you and Kevin crushed Sargon was absolutely great. Sargon is fake. Whatever political side he pretends to be on, he only does it for fame and money. He doesn't give two shits about it. And the whole idea to come to your stream was just so he could go back to his own stupid viewers to boast about it. But again, you two crushed him with his own tactics. I think I will listen to your show in the future. But even if I don't, I wish you good luck with everything you do.
Hang on, before we skip on past that, as our resident German, pronounce that name for us.
Demasquiert muchacho, sorry. My glasses got blurry for a second there. Yeah, so the masked muchacho. Why do I keep saying muchacho? Muchacho.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I could be wrong though, because my German sucks. So I'm sure I'll be corrected by my German friends if I got it wrong. But usually when you get something like that, like the year verbs, it's like you can just assume. All right. Oh, and then we're back to the beginning. So now I can stop.
Okay. Well, I'll try to screen share again, and if my computer goes mental again, I'm actually going to go on an annoying little rant. Apparently, it's doing it now. Okay, awesome.
Yep.
Come on.
Your screen. I'm locking on you.
Okay. Well, it's. Oh, come on! Hurry up! Oh God. Well, hopefully you should be seeing an entirely dark screen here.
Yeah, I'm seeing a dark screen, so that's exciting for viewers. I can see you have pictures.
Can you?
Well, yeah, because I can see the icon in the bottom of the screen.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Well, yeah, exactly. And if this first fucking thing will ever actually open up, that would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That would be really awesome. But I mean, hang on. Oh, it's doing something. There we go.
Ha ha! Sound like Alan Partridge.
You did. You went full Alan Partridge. Well, knowing me, knowing you, absolutely.
Oh, you're so quick.
Right. I am indeed. All right. It's Adam's Storrow. For a guy who hates socialism, Carl of Swindon sure does like being publicly owned.
That one is amazing.
That is brilliant. You pointed that out to me. That one was delicious. This one was actually not under the video. It was from a discussion I had with Carl, because Carl's got another account, which you can see that at @not_Sargon on Twitter, which is one he lied about. He said it wasn't his, and then the shitlord community got annoyed when that account retweeted a thing trying to get Andy Warski shut down. Which, regardless of what you think of Andy Warski or whatever, Sargon's supposedly free speech and anti-deplatforming, isn't he?
Wait, so now he's got at @not_Sargon. He's got @backwoodsman, and he's got @gnostic_ape.
Well, apparently he's not backwoodsman.
He's not that person. He's not the Sargon. There.
Yeah, he's not Sargon. That one. He's also Warplan Purple. Or partly Warplan Purple anyway. Anyway, so this person, yeah, we'd had a discussion. He was defending Gamergate 2.0 because he's a fucking cretin. And then this guy, right? Dear Sargoyle, as a former fan of yours, I think that's supposed to be of yours, whatever. I think I speak for more than myself when I say, take a break. Go vacation. Spend some time with your family. Meditate on humility and stay away from SM. You're hemorrhaging respect by the day. Oh, God. And then brilliantly, best of luck.
I've seen this telling him to go on vacation, go away, sort himself out, and come back. He's hearing a lot, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, how did that get in there? Oh no, that's the thumbnail I used for my version of the video.
Yeah, which I didn't use, but I appreciated it on your video.
Yeah, that absolutely, yes, and I think that's true.
You can put that up. I can't put that up. That would just be weird if I put that up.
It would be gauche, absolutely. Yeah. But let's just.
But you putting it up is fine.
Well, I'll just let that linger. I'll just let that be there for a second. It's fine. Moving on. I pinned this one. Oh, bollocks! I pinned this one from Tommy Wiley. Good work here. Essentially, a sort of a potential for the Oxford English Dictionary next year, because they add words every year. You know, Sargonic, adjective, describing the inverse ratio of research to conclusion, i.e. a worldview derived solely, although solely spelt wrong there, tish tish, a worldview derived solely from reading the top 2 comments on a Pat Condell video could be described as highly Sargonic.
That's so good.
That is good. I like that.
Really good.
And then, oh, good God, how did that get in there? That is... Who's been messing... Rory Cat's been messing with these. I don't know how this has happened. That's just a milk-fed gimp there. That's fine. Hello, V. I'm glad that became a thing. Anyway. Carl, why aren't you acting like a white person? Dead. That'll do. Yeah, that was one of my favourite ones as well, Pascal.
It was
to say.
really
That was good. Dude was making a cuppa, but then it's nature called. Having a wank, I think. Almost certainly. Almost certainly. Definitely jerking off to the smell of his own farts. Yeah, absolutely. When are Kristi and Kevin getting married? When are we getting married, Kristi? When's that happening?
a lot. How many
Yeah.
times have we met in person?
0
Yeah.
so far. 0 so far. But I mean, also, I just have to say, you can do better. You can do so much. You have settled, girl. Jesus Christ, that is embarrassing. You could do a lot better. This one I loved. This one was so stupid. Kristi shouldn't have been on this video. Yeah, Kristi, you shouldn't have been on the video. The title of whom is your first name.
Right.
You should, Kristi. Yeah, Kristi should not be on. Yeah, A on Kristi's channel and B on Kristi and Kev's happy hour.
No vaginas speaking on the happy hour.
That's absolutely. That's fair enough. Sorry, Kristi. Yeah, it's just totally belittled you, but sorry, that's fine. Carl wanted a friendly chat, and Kevin genuinely seems like someone who wants to be a good person. Does that mean you don't? Yeah, Kristi's whole thing is just be evil. It's the opposite of Google. Just be evil.
Oh, 90% of what you did. I mean, other than 100% of what you did was dunking on him. Some of it was piss take. About 85% was piss take dunking on him, and then the other 15% was you dunking on him when he couldn't. When you had to correct him on which body of parliamentarians or people in Britain he was objecting to.
Yeah, because he's such an idiot. He literally couldn't even get the right thing. Yeah, he's an idiot. Right, the pair could talk in a friendly manner, even if they disagree. However, Kristi seems too invested in her feminism to have a nice discussion, or to have a friendly discussion with someone who disagrees with her, quote unquote, and then in brackets regarding feminism, which I loved because you literally went on and debated him in a perfectly friendly and cordial manner and wiped the floor with him.
Yeah, and he insulted me and tried to, backhand me with a few backhanded compliments. But I'm the one who doesn't want a friendly conversation.
Yeah, exactly. So, blind lobster, you're an idiot. And there is the most finely tailored suit you will ever see.
I think it comes with his where the crease of his thumb meets, his palm. It's that long on his arms.
Yeah, that's very true. And there's a kind of weird puffiness to the legs as well, which makes it kind of look like he's wearing a saggy nappy. But this right here, this is peak performance. This is how men are supposed to look here. Okay, this is sartorial elegance at its finest.
You fools.
You fools. Frankly, I'd rather not own a suit, actually.
Just walk around in that. In a nappy, your nappy trousers. Your
nappy trousers with literally, look, it's, when they send a kid to school and they want him to grow into it, the uniform, because then they grow. Look at those arms. His mum has bought him that thinking he'll grow into that in 6 months. Be fine. Anyway. Kristi and Kevin had fun, no doubt. But there was nothing gained here, except for Sargon getting annoyed. That was the point, Zoidberg. That was the fucking point, mate. There was nothing supposed to be gained other than just annoying Carl. And he even said he was not prepared for this, as this is not the conversation he expected. Again, tell his little milk-fed gimp to actually get the message right next time. Or don't throw your friend under the bus and lie. Whatever.
Yep.
And then brilliantly, right, this is fucking stupid, I call for Kristi and Kevin versus Sargon and V. Why? Why would adding V have added anything to the conversation? The man's a cretin. Also, brilliantly, upvote if you agree with this. And if we just take a look at the upvotes there, that's really worked out for you, Zoidberg. People love that idea.
Yeah, it had a whole day, so it wasn't like 5 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah, I didn't take it as soon as look. It's been up for a day, and people couldn't stop themselves from upvote. Oh no, they actually got none. Throw up caution tape around the stream. Murder was committed here. Fair point. Fair point. Your mother, obviously.
One I saw, but I didn't capture, was someone who said this debate needs to be uploaded to Pornhub.
It was, yeah. It was, yeah. English Bear gets absolutely rogered senseless by two. Just with facts, just with basic facts, and using your own tactics against you. Oh, there's Carl engaged in a game of chess. Just going to leave that there for a second, because That is an amusing image, which again was a thumbnail from a different video that I used. Moving on. You got a free plug from Sargon on Facebook, which again, I mean, bringing it back to the chess thing, that's again him playing 4D chess, underwater backgammon, clearly, because thank you, Sargon, for giving us a plug on Facebook so that your fans could see what a fucking moron you are.
And also, I noticed that he never uploaded his Richard Carrier debate up on. I'll take your screen off now. Nope, there you are. Got confused. Yeah, he never uploaded his MythCon appearance for this year to his channel, but he did last year.
Wow. Well, it was that embarrassing.
Do you think he'll mirror?
Jesus.
Do you think he mirrored our chat with him?
I hope so, but I don't think so. I imagine he probably thought, no, I can't. I just can't. Yeah, is what I imagine his reaction was.
Yeah, he kind of curates, he archives with a bias.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost as if he's like some sort of weird man baby who can't take being, beaten.
Quite. Well, this is what we wanted to do in the show. I don't know if you have more that you wanted to do. I'm feeling kind of like the end of the hangout last time. Like I had a good laugh. I'm feeling a little bit tired.
Is Kristi getting tired? Does Kristi have to go? Kristi need more dopamine.
But it was fun because, like I said, afterwards, you and I watched it back to watch the chat as well. And yeah, because that's when I think we went on YouTube and saw that there was this. Anyway, we were watching the chat and watching this stuff back. And yeah, we were also regretted some of the things that we didn't say, which I made a point of kind of bringing up here because now this is our chance to say it.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so much. Yeah, it's difficult to get through it all with Carl because he's got such a backlog. But he's definitely going to be he's prime ministerial material in waiting, isn't he? It's not like anyone's going to go. So anyway, prospective politician, tell us about the white N words. What's that about?
Oh yeah,
he's definitely going to win an election with depending on the child things.
I'm
because
interested.
people, it's not like people. 100% of people will vote against a fucking pedo apologist. That's fine. People don't react viciously to that at all. It's fine.
Well, I mean, it's entertaining to joke about Carl ever being in politics seriously. He tried that once, and he got a headline being called a racist troll. So I don't think he's.
And then rage quit for like a day and a half, but before then going, actually, I'm going to go back on that as well. But I'm going to quit the culture war because they wrote a newspaper article about me.
Now he wants us to define the far right for him.
Yeah, why don't you just ask your friends, you prick?
It's going to be fascinating to see how far he goes, because I think the other thing that this show did that I didn't really realize at the time, because again, I was thinking more about the progressive movement, was he has belittled us and mocked us for so long. So for him to come into that hangout and for us to really just own him and laugh at him and humiliate him when people expect him to be able to pwn feminists. He sold himself as always being able to point out how ridiculous feminists are. And that's his most popular content. So
but that's all he ever does is he dunks on like fucking blue-haired Tumblr people.
Right. And so he's built up an entire sort of, reputation when all he's really fought is straw feminists, as it were.
Yeah.
And so when his fans were like, this is painful to watch. And, I guess I can kind of have sympathy for watching somebody you respect fall. But I think this is it. I mean, the fact that he lost not only to feminists, but to Potato Head and Fisty.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Just think about somebody who respected Sargon because he was so superior to us.
By the way, Potato Head and Fisty have to be the best crime fighting duo I've ever heard of.
Da, 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 da. Potato Head and Fisty. Da, 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 da.
Well, that's someone's definitely going to have to animate that. Definitely.
See, if Carl could come in and do that kind of stuff, it would have been a completely different conversation.
Or if he'd just come in and gone, yeah, I'm sorry for mocking your dead friend. Again, we would have gone, okay, well, let's have a talk then. Fine.
But ego.
No.
Yeah. And so by having two feminists deflate his ego, I don't know. He'll have a hardcore fan base, obviously, but I think he's put a fork in him. I'm going to call it.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of that community have started to implode. We've seen what happened with Mundane Matt. Sargon's, yeah, like you say, it'd be interesting to see how far he goes. But notice we didn't ask which direction he's going to go. It's just how far down he's going.
Yeah. What's his bottom? You know, is it?
Well, surrounded by a nappy in that suit.
But I'm bummed.
Thank you. I'm here all week. Don't forget to tip your waitresses.
Oh, this has been almost as fun as it was last week, but of course it was with Carl last week live, so it was.
Well, if you want, I can nip off and rage quit for 2 minutes and come back if it'll really complete the circle for you.
Oh no, it was a moment. It's captured, but it's over, and but it was fun to look back with you and fun.
It was. This was newspaper clippings of glory days. Yeah. Absolutely.
This was sitting in the pub after the winning match and replaying all the best moments again over and over.
Exactly.
I feel.
Well, yeah, I said, should we do a decompression stream for Friday? And I think it does feel like that. It feels like, just nice. Everything's nice and reset now. We can it's nice. It's pleasant.
And also, I haven't really spoken at all about like the stream sniping and the reaction we've been getting. So, and I've just been too tired. I've got a promotion at work and it's great, but it's, oh my gosh, so much work. And I didn't want to just respond in little Twitter. So I'm glad.
Oh, look at Krista. She's too big for us now. She's got a promotion. She's got, oh God, she's an important intellectual who's actually making a contribution to the sum of human knowledge. And that's actually incredibly admirable. Hold on.
Anyway, so yeah, I am whining. I love my job, but I'm glad we had a chance to talk about it here because I think I don't know how to react in some ways to what happened. I mean,
yeah, it was a bit weird.
Yeah,
but it was pleasant. And Carl, if you want to come back on, you're welcome.
Yeah. I mean, there were people who, when there are people who are still like, they're first against the wall. There are people who are always going to hate us, but seeing a positive reaction was something that just kind of blew my mind, and it's why I haven't reacted. So anyway, got that all off my chest. So thanks for listening, everyone. The 259 viewers I see we currently have. I hope you guys had as much fun as we did reliving this. I'm going to watch the chat back. So if you have messages for me, you can leave them now. At the end, I'll have a look. I'll read the whole chat, but if you have anything right now and you forgot, now's your time. Anything from you to the chat, Kevin?
Insert witty comment here.
All right. Hey, what's the latest video you've put up on your channel?
Well, I put up a mirror of PZ Myers and the thing we talked about earlier with the Richard Carrier lawsuit going down. Ha ha, Richard, you piece of shit. That's not what it's called. That was a comment I'd make just now. But before that, I started a new series called Prager FU, which is a series about Prager University, quote unquote university, where I take on their videos and destroy them. It's about healthcare. I think it was quite good.
Oh, I actually wanted to mention to you that if in future you want some help with research on that, I'm a geek. And
you are a geek. Thank you, Kristi. I admire that's a lovely offer. I may take you up on it, especially if we get into like political science and stuff, because you are, as you just told us, you're getting promotion at the university. Oh, I'm so clever.
Yeah, a couple articles up for you is not a big deal, and then you could credit me as a research assistant.
That's the do I have to? Oh no, I can't be giving other people reflected glory. I have to take all of the glory for me, Krista. No, thank you for the offer. I will take you up on it at some point in the future.
And thank you. You're going to be planning on releasing in the near future.
Releasing. Well, I'm
putting up on your channel. You know what you do in your private time. You could share. if you feel like it.
Well, I've got. Well, don't tell the Baha men, but I intend to let the dogs out later, if that's what you mean.
Woof, 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 woof. Everybody did it. Come on. I mean, and everyone who's watching this just went woof, woof. Come on. You did.
Exactly. Well, I'm just going to go off and do the Macarena if this is how it's going. If we're doing really shitty old musical references.
That's it. We're doing it. We're going off air. Cut his mic. Somebody cut
some Friday Night Birdie song. Who's up for it?
All right, guys. Thanks again for watching, especially all the way to the end of the video. Really appreciate it. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Don't forget that we have a podcast of this show. In fact, I've improved the audio on the podcast. I don't think I put a link to that in the video below. If I remember, I'll do that. Otherwise, you can go to Podbean.
Well, I should ask you, have you got anything coming up? I didn't even ask you. Sorry.
Well, I've got D&D on Saturday, and then I've got I've got Culture Club on Sunday. We're going to be over at Culture Shots channel, and I don't remember the topic, but it'll be interesting. And because no matter what the topic is, I gave him the homework assignment. Wait, I gave him the homework assignment of learning like 2 or 4 bars of Hamilton. I don't know how many, like I don't looking at it right now. And he's supposed to rap them back at me. So if nothing,
Oh, you're asking a Dutchman to rap in English?
yes.
Oh, that's really harsh. That's really harsh.
To experience the fun of enunciating the words that were chosen because of the cadence that their consonants put together.
Yes. Okay. Okay, Kristi, stop showing off.
That was kind of nice, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think I just looked it up. The topic is, have you even read Locke? Which is, I mean, that's sarcastic, Henk. I don't know what you're doing, mate. That's out of order. But talking of Henk, actually, we haven't got a date formalized for when it's going to start because of various reasons. But me and Henk are going to be doing a series analysing the works of George Orwell.
Oh, wow, that would be awesome.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, we start with 1984 because the whole point is the right wing keep referencing Orwell and they don't seem to understand either him or his work. So we're going to sort of analyse it and take you through it. And 1984 is the most wrongly referenced book by idiots ever, basically, other than possibly the Bible, I suppose. But yeah, so we're going to take a look at that first and do a series of like live hangout analyses of his works, and they are brilliant.
You're going to do a reverse Starship Troopers?
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, we were actually going to analyze it rather than just self-aggrandizing masturbation over a book we don't really understand.
Yep, sounds like Carl. Okay, so I was trying to close out the show. I don't know how far I'd gotten. I think I'd gotten to the part where I was.
Who cares, Kristi? Life is too short. Just tell the chat to go fuck themselves and turn it off.
There you go. So I'm just going to yes, sorry. Fuck you, Kevin. You screwed me up. But I was going to say, I've been Kristi. I was going to say Kevin was awesome, but no, you're a horrible little jerk face right now. You
less of the little, please. Let's have less of that activity.
And until next time, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Are we doing the bit? Do the bit.
So goodbye. That was it. That's what you screwed up. I couldn't remember. You threw me off the bit. Goodbye from me and goodbye from ass face. Say goodbye, ass face.
Goodbye, ass face.
Oh, that's mean. Now I feel bad because of how you say it.
You should feel fucking bad. No, I've done the bit. You should feel bad, and you're just gonna have to do your fucking time in guilt jail.
Well, if I apologize nicely, will you say goodbye, Kev?
If you can't do guilt time, you don't do the guilt crime. Oh, bollocks that up. Fuck's sake.
Just say goodbye, Kev.
Goodbye, Kev.
Bye, guys.